talking to me. He claims that he was there last night, but we did not meet. The situation here is obviously not pleasant.
Somebody called just because they're worried about you.
Are you going to do anything about the threats, harassment, intimidation, or assaults? Or the officers?
I have no idea what's going on.
Well, that's...
I wasn't informed of any of this last night.
See, apparently they don't communicate. I did see that the officer who came and talked to me.
This is Jim again with Center for Living. Hey there.
The guy from Center for Living again.
Do you mind if I open the door a little bit more so I can hear you better?
Would you please get someone from social services here? Because it is their job.
Till Monday morning.
They have someone on call.
They're not going to respond to this.
Sir, you do not have permission to touch my vehicle. Please don't. Please stop leaning on my vehicle.
Okay, no worries. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry to hear you. So 451 I copied.
So anyway, there was a young'un earlier who threw a rock at my vehicle. And of course, a lady, she saw them throw the rock. I didn't see it. I just heard it.
How long ago was that?
That was about 20 minutes ago, maybe.
Here in the parking lot?
Yes. Anyway, the situation
did it damage the property at all? Or your car?
Probably not. Are you seeing my car? Anyway, I need to be able to turn in the crimes that have happened already, and I need to be able to turn in the officers here, the police officers who were here last night. The communication with them is obviously broken down too much. For me to try to trust these guys, I mean, they want me to basically just ignore everything that's happening. The Center for Living is not the people who are supposed to be doing this. It's supposed to be a social worker. My safety is not a concern, and they keep preying on my disabilities in order to prevent me from turning in my predators or showing evidence. For me to be intentionally and repeatedly misled by police officers as well as Adult Protective Services, and also, of course, the Center for Living, both here and in Hood River. I mean, this is creating a major safety concern for me. Not only the fact that I'm stuck in this situation, but I'm stuck in public places. I have to expend resources I don't have. Now, for them, they've been dragging this out for months and months and months, repeatedly forcing me to go to the same places that I'm trying to turn in. Being told if I travel to here or travel to there, then they'll help me. I travel to there and they don't help me. I need a guardian or an advocate before my disability money is taken away because I can't get it back. I don't have the ability to get it back. The reason that I went without disability, even though I've been disabled my whole life, the reason I had to go without disability from 18 until 37 is because every time that I tried to get it before that, I had to do it by myself. When I was 37, after the situation with Natalie Bollinger, what was I going to do after that? Just take abuse. That's it. I got disability. I did what I was supposed to. I got disability. I finally got help to get disability so that I could actually defend myself, so that I could actually have something to live on, so that people couldn't easily prey on me the way that they had been, and it just made it easier for people to prey on me. The safety issues created by these guys here, I don't even see them anymore. I wonder where they went. There is a safety issue that has been created for me here. And for these agencies to continually drag it on, and on Monday, oh, they're on vacation. They drag it out until they can try to arrest me for something. And if that happens, all of the evidence I'm trying to show, which it's illegal for them to turn away from at this point, they were informed of it last night. They needed to help me to get to a safe place where I could make a police report without fear of threats, harassment, or intimidation. They're not following the law. That one officer last night, what was it he said exactly? He said a lot of things, didn't he? Make sure my lighter works. Anyway, I came here to try to do the stuff that I need to do at the library, but there wasn't enough time to do it. Now I gotta try to find a place to go park
So the library
where
called,
it's
but they
safe.
didn't indicate that they wanted you to leave at all. But they're just worried about potential damage to property. If I leave you alone, would you, or you're not going to damage any property or anything like that? I don't
Sir,
think you are.
if I take abuse, any more abuse, then I absolutely will have to damage property to get something done. So you can go ahead and pray that I am not abused or otherwise retaliated against for speaking out.
Okay, well, if people are coming to abuse you, call, okay?
I did.
I know. I understand you called yesterday, and I wasn't the officer that was there.
Yesterday wasn't the
So,
only time,
they-
and that's the point.
Came up with a plan to report all of these things to the Center for Living yesterday. That was the plan. Do you remember that at all?
Through a social worker, that's what needs to be done, and adult protective services, and they need to get off their butts instead of riding the clock.
So Sean, just let you know the reality of the situation, because we're trying to help you the best we can, and that's the truth.
I'm letting you know the reality of the situation. I know that if I had a parent or guardian here and present with me right now, these things would not be happening, and you guys would already be on doing something about the crimes committed against me.
So I'm just want to let you know right now, I'm the only crisis counselor covering 3 counties. So come Monday, we got more staff. We can help you address all these issues on Monday. But
And
until
see,
Monday,
you
there's not a
guys
lot
keep
we-
trying to push it on to different people. This is something
No,
that
it's-
by law is supposed to be taken care of by a social worker, and you are not a social worker.
Okay, well,
I'm an
CFO
at-risk adult. There is supposed to be a social worker here for any and all emergencies, especially
you from-
situations of crisis, which I am in.
Are you from the area at all?
No, sir.
The Gorge does not have a whole lot of resources.
I'm aware nobody in
And-
the United States has resources, and
I
that's what
know.
I keep getting told. But whether you have resources or not, it doesn't detract from the fact that the abuse that I'm enduring is very real. And as far as what the law says is supposed to happen, if you can't
I
follow
believe
the
you.
law because of resources, that's not my fault.
Well, you're kind of misunderstanding what we're trying to say.
Can I step over there and smoke? Because I don't want to smoke at the
Absolutely.
library.
You are not detained. Nothing is. Someone called because they were concerned about you.
I'm concerned about me too.
Right,
I'm
so
concerned
that's
about
why
people
I'm here,
repeatedly
right?
harming me.
You're not under arrest. You're free to leave. Tell me to fuck off. I leave.
Well, I'm not going to tell you that. The way I look at it, you're still a human being at this point.
Well, you're a human being too, and I'm trying to just help you the best that I can. You know.
So because it's not normal business hours right now, if one of us were to call APD to request for someone to come out here, and even if they're able to do that, because of you're able to take care of yourself.
I'm not able to take care of myself. I'm not.
I'm saying your physical health.
No, my physical health is screwed. My legs are screwed. My hips are screwed. My back is screwed.
Our hands are kind of tied with what we're able to do at this current moment, right? But it's
Well, we've got 2 people here who are going out of their way already. Him and, of course, that gentleman last night who want to go out of their way to pretend that my physical abilities are greater than they are. They aren't. My ability
That
to...
being said, there isn't a whole lot that you can do. At least for me, there isn't a whole lot that I can do, right?
About the abuse last night? Absolutely. I need to be allowed to be into a safe place where I can make a report safely and not fear being harmed. Well, the threats, harassment, and intimidation by that officer, first of all.
Okay.
And that second one that showed up, he wasn't interested in doing anything. He wanted to wait on this guy to show up. This guy right here isn't going to do anything about it.
Listen, I investigate crimes and some other stuff, but, you know, we work in tandem with CFO. You know, if you're saying you're unable to take care of yourself, right, that's why he's out here right now. It's like, okay, we're trying to figure out a temporary solution for the next couple of days, and then we can, once people that work 9 to 5 jobs, because, you know, if social workers only work 9 to 5, unless like this young Paul is covering 3 counties.
The problem is that he's a mental health dude, all right? As far as mental health goes, if he's going to be there and present, he needs to be there and present so that I can turn in the evidence and actually help me with the evidence. But that's not his job. He's not an investigator. That is a police officer's job to help me with that.
We gotta just do one step at a time. So first, I mean, seriously, I would recommend the person to get checked out.
I'm not asking for recommendations. I'm asking for assistance in stopping abuse and reporting ongoing abuse that has happened in both Hood River and, of course, here.
It doesn't appear to be current abuse occurring.
And see, there you go, blowing me off instead of hearing what I'm saying. No, what you are doing is intentionally antagonizing the situation. You work closely with these officers, and you're doing everything that you can to try to redirect the situation so the actual issue is ignored. That is not okay. You're a mental health worker. I am trying to turn in crimes against me. Are you going to help me to turn those crimes in?
That's not my role like that.
And see, exactly. So you are doing absolutely no good in being here, are you?
You're telling me earlier that you can't take care of yourself, you're concerned about your physical health. So that piece, that's one piece of the puzzle that I can't address. And I would tell you, get concerns about your immediate physical health, you should go to the emergency room.
And see, you're giving me advice instead of listening to what it is that I'm going through as a result of those physical disabilities, or the reason that I even have them to begin with. And it's not just physical disabilities. I do want help, but I need the help that I need. I need to be able to turn in the crimes against me. That's what I need. I need an officer here. What he's telling me about, I mean, what's he going to do? Nothing. Nothing. Adult Protective Services needs to help me out of this. It is an emergency situation. I am an at-risk adult. It is on paper that I am an at-risk adult. This is not okay.
You see, at risk, we talk about your physical health, we talk about your
Bless you. I'm talking about both.
So if you're saying you don't need to go to the emergency room, so if I was an APD worker.
No, sir, what I'm telling you is that this abuse is ongoing and I need to turn in the crimes that have been committed against me. But I need someone there, a parent or guardian. I don't have one of those. One is supposed to be appointed to me. For 6 months, I've been jumping through the hoops that I'm told to jump through. Nobody has done anything about any of the crimes committed against me. That includes repeated crimes by law enforcement. APD is supposed to do something about that. They're not doing anything about it. They misled me to believe that if I came here, they misled me to believe that if I came here, if I drove here and expended resources I don't have to come here, that they could help me to turn it in. I came here, and again, it's another discussion and another waste of time where I'm getting blown off until next time. Until next time. They'll push me away for 6 months. At the end of 6 months, they'll say, well, why are you still trying to turn this in? Because I'm treated like I'm a liar for trying to turn this stuff in.
You know, I was going to tell you I think it's best that you decide to turn it off. I think what's best is to try to make it one day come in instead of listening to Dan and help you out. It's not like help you out last.
And you're going to give the word for somebody else. You know what? There's a possibility that if I go in to talk to him, he'll tell me something that's happened many, many times with agencies very similar. Oh, well, my boss says I'm not allowed, or I have to be subpoenaed.
You're right, I guess.
Exactly. You're over here giving me the mentally ill treatment and treating me like I'm a fucking retard. I'm not retarded. I didn't grow up in a bubble. I grew up in the system getting my ass whooped for the color of my skin. I grew up the son of 2 drug addicts who didn't have their kids because they couldn't stay off the drugs. I was punished for the sins of others. I continue to be punished for the sins of others, and I don't need bullshit, and I don't need talked down to, I don't need talked at, and I don't need belittled.
That's not my intention, so I'll still
Thank you. Now I can speak with the officer.
So, from my understanding is that you spoke with Officer Rytalk and Officer Caldwell last night?
Officer Rytog is the one that I'm trying to turn in, and the other one after him did the same stuff and pulled him into it, and then I'm supposed to deal with him, and it's not his job, so why does he keep showing up?
Well, because we want to help you.
If you wanted to help me, you would help me to turn in the police reports. You would help me to find a safe place where threats, harassment, and intimidation by Rytog last night to begin with.
Well, there's a sergeant that's coming on at 7. You want to complain, make a complaint to him, call down.
Well, that's absolutely a good start. Now, what's this guy's name who's coming on?
His name is Sergeant Nagamatsu.
Sergeant Nagamatsu. And if I call him, he might come out here and do something, or do you think he's going to send that guy out again?
I don't know what he's going to do. I'm not a sergeant. I don't deal with complaints.
I was told I needed to come here to turn in crimes by the Hood River Police Department and other people in Hood River. I went to Adult Protective Services to do that. In Hood River, threats, harassment, and intimidation, as well as people putting drugs in drinks, offering me drinks, and when I took a drink of it, it was drugs. I was lucky that it was methamphetamines instead of acid, because if it was acid, I'd be wandering around here talking about dinosaurs and the Illuminati and shit.
Yeah.
Now, I was lucky that they put meth in there. I've never had COVID and I don't do meth, so I tasted it immediately. The problem is that it was a hot day and I took a fat swig. I have hospital paperwork right here. The hospital, by law, was supposed to get a hold of somebody from Adult Protective Services as well as law enforcement when I told them what happened. I have a... It was a hospital in Hood River.
Okay.
Now, because of that, I was told that I needed to call Adult Protective Services. I called Adult Protective Services. They told me to come here. I've called Adult Protective Services repeatedly. They tell me if there's a problem, I need to call 911. So I call 911, and I'm either redirected, blown off, threatened, harassed, or intimidated, or they have me come talk to the mental health guy. It's not the mental health guy that I need.
understand if you're trying to report threats, harassment, intimidation. What kind of threat?
And assault. Well, sir, a lot of different people. And this is one of the things. Here's my hospital paperwork. It says right here at the top that there was methamphetamines in my system. It also shows right here that they did a drugs of abuse screen, urine. It also shows right here that they gave me a number to call. And I was supposed to go back as soon as possible for a visit in 2 days. I called and they told me that they can't do anything until the end of November. So even though the hospital instructions here tell me to do one thing, the place they told me to call tells me to do another. So if I try to take this to court, I get told, oh, well, you didn't try. No, I did try. I did call. They told me they couldn't until November. That is over a month past when my money is going to get cut off because my disabilities prevent me from being able to do the paperwork or having that done so that I can keep my disability money.
So that's what Dan at Center for Living is going to help you do, right? They're able to help
It's not. That's the problem is that they're not. They're supposed to do that in Hood River too. Instead of they threatened, harassed, and intimidated me there. I have. That's the thing is that I have literally dozens of calls recorded on my YouTube and many more that are recorded that are not on my YouTube. And then there's times where I don't have the ability to record. Now let me show you something. On my phone, I try to record everything live.
Yeah, are you recording right now?
Of course I am. I said that at the beginning. But I also have on my keys, I have a clandestine recording device. It's an audio recording device, and it allows me to record things in places where people normally would not be able to or normally would be barred from it. But in the situations where crimes are being committed against an at-risk adult, being myself, and they're not following protocols, and it creates a safety issue such as the one that I am in now.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I don't know enough. Like, I understand what you're telling me, but I don't know enough about their systems.
Well, their systems and their policies versus state law are completely different. They didn't follow state law.
Okay. Well, I'm still on that. That wouldn't be necessarily something that I'd investigate, so I don't really know.
And that's the thing is I keep getting sent on, told it's nobody's job. It's not something you investigate. It's not something they investigate. I get told to go to somebody who is supposed to investigate it, and they send me on to somebody else. That's the thing with Dan. Dad made 5 phone calls. The last phone call sent him right back to a place that he'd already called. So we're expending resources. This is 5 different organizations that are getting paid and 5 different organizations who are literally paid for doing what it is that I'm going to them for and that he is going to them for. Literally all 5 of these organizations are taking taxpayers' money. All 5 of these organizations are paying people, and all these people are doing is referring victims to one place, to another, to another, to another, frustrating us to the point that we are victimized until we want our lives to end. Instead of ending our lives, we go to try to get help, and we explain that we're bullied to the point that we want our lives to end, and that we're not trying to end our lives, we're trying to get help. But instead, police want to reinterpret that into, I'm coming to you for help because I'm trying to kill myself and I want you to stop me. No, I don't want you to stop me from killing myself. I want you to do something about the crimes that are being committed against me.
You know, and I understand that. I want to help you, right? That's why I'm here. But I need to articulate. So that's the crime about the drug, right? that's out of my hands. That's the Hood River thing, right?
And that's the point with me being sent here.
Done wrong by Hood River, and I will acknowledge.
I was also done wrong by Adult Protective Services by being told if I came here that they would do something. These are all mandated reporters. That's what I came here for. I went there and talked to them just yesterday. I explained to them what was going on. Well, sir, like I said, a lot of threats, harassment, and intimidation.
And I know that, but
And I'm telling you, the threats. What I'm saying is the threats last night by the officers, and as well as the other tactics that were used to prevent me from turning it in, they're all recorded on my YouTube channel, all of them. Now that includes Sean David.
S-H-A-U-N or S-H-A-W?
S-H-A-W-N. The thing is, this is all eating up precious time, and it's eating up resources I don't have, and it's that time that is getting eaten up is going to deprive me of the resources to pay my insurance, to pay the bills for my vehicle, to pay my phone bill. It's going to deprive me of everything, every resource that I need to get help. Now, as far as the intimidation last night, I was trying to tell the officer what was going on. He just wanted to get an attitude with me. That's Reichstag. He wanted to get an attitude with me, talk over everything that I said, try to reinterpret everything that I said. When I called 911 about Reichstag, because he threatened to have me arrested if I called 911, I was calling 911 on him about the threats and harassment.
So, I know technically that is correct. Technically, right. But it's called misuse of 911.
But in the case of there being a very clear and present danger for myself, an at-risk adult, yes, it is absolutely okay for me to call 911 because it was a risk. For him threatening, when I told him that I was going to turn him in, all right, it's not against the law for me to turn him in. And if the officer is still there and I feel threatened and he is literally shouting and yelling at me for trying to get him to listen instead of threatening and harassing me, all right, it is not okay for him to try to threaten, harass, or intimidate me into not calling 911 on him when he is very clearly making it a safety risk for me and very clearly treating me as if I am an animal.
And like I said, you called out of the PD at around 7 o'clock, Sergeant got the hot schooling on, and then you're able to talk to me about that, okay? Because as just a line level patrol officer, I don't handle people. And there's no sergeant on duty right now.
Well, there's also the complaint that needs to be made about the man who tried to run me off the road yesterday that was here in the Dalles. And I tried to report that last night, but I need a safe place to do that.
What do you mean a safe place to do that?
I mean, I have to try to come to a place like the library to sit down and go through any of that evidence. And I need somebody there and present to see that I'm doing it, to admit that I'm making the effort. And if something goes wrong, they need to admit that it happened. Exactly.
Okay.
That's the thing with being sent to the crisis place that was just here, October 18th, 1980. That's the problem with the crisis people. I keep getting told that that's what they're supposed to do. Then they show up and tell me that's not what they're supposed to do.
Here's what I'll do for you, Sean. I know I understand you're trying to report this, but you're not in a place to do that without that second individual here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to document this. Okay. I'm going to write everything down in my computer, and I'm gonna go back to my computer. I'm going to get you a log number of this specific call, of this interaction, and I will document everything you said to me about the threats, harassment, intimidation, and that sort of stuff. Okay.
All right. Also, a lot of this.
I can't file a case report until you are ready. Okay.
Well, the thing is, if I have a room that I can sit in with my evidence, instead of having to come to the library and try to set it all up here and hope that I get it done before they close, I need a place where I can literally sit down and work on that. Whether that be a hotel room or a room down at the police station, it doesn't matter. I can't provide that for myself. Especially with the lack of resources, especially with the crimes that have been committed against me, cutting me off from resources that I would otherwise have access to.
Okay. Well, like I said, that's what I understand that you need to do that. just what is the plan that I kind of laid out. Is that okay for you right now in the short term? Because that's the best that I can offer at this point.
That'll work, and I can call Officer
Sergeant
Nagamatsu. I'm gonna try to remember that, but I'm horrible with names.
Okay. Just call down to the PD, ask for the sergeant. That's that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll be right back, okay?
Yes, sir. All right, so my friend Casey is trying to get a hold of me. She's one of the people that went missing that I helped to find. Not once, but twice since Natalie was killed. She needs to have surgery. She's got a brain stent because of an accident that happened right after she was born. And people keep treating her like her disabilities from it are her choice. Like she chose to be in that accident right after she was born. By the way, that accident claimed the life of her mother. She needs help too, and I'm doing my best to try to advocate for her from here. She was in the system as a child. Her real father, Matthew Perry, sperm donor, he didn't want her. Brandon Jepson, he was planning on adopting her before she was even born. Brooke's death changed all that. And Casey is the one paying the price. When I turn this stuff in, there does need to be somebody there and present, and I need to have a place to actually do it. This running around like a chicken with my head cut off, this is killing me. It should not be this impossible. No matter what, there's some reason they can't, some excuse why they can't. They go out of their way to twist and manipulate my words into something they're not. So finally, I have to consent to them doing whatever the fuck they want, which is as possible. I mean, as soon as I get started, he asks me what abuse, and I start telling him what abuse, and then he starts talking again. Anyway, you know what? I'd rather be helping Casey right now. And of course, we listen to that guy telling me that I can take care of myself. No, I can't.
Like I said, it has my business card with my contact information as well. That's the log number. I'm going to document everything right now, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman.
Of course. Do you have any other questions for me at this moment that you can think of?
No, sir, I'll have to talk to you. You said he's a sergeant? Nagamatsu?
Yes.
All right, I'll practice that in my vehicle for a few minutes. I'm going to park over in this parking lot over here just so I'm not bugging the library.
Okay.
Because that one says I can park there till 10.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. Well, thank you, okay?
Yes, sir. A lot of y'all, one of the things that you say about us is that we don't understand social cues. No, we understand social cues better than you do. The problem is that your social cues make no sense. Why do you say one thing then do another? Why do you have a different set of rules for you than you have for others? So I'm stuck in this hurry up and wait thing. Hurry up and wait. APS needs to assign somebody to my case to help me turn in my predators. Instead, my predators get to use the mentally ill tag. And instead of paying attention and doing something about the fact that I'm autistic and that I'm being abused because I'm autistic, they want to use the mentally ill tag to pretend that I'm schizophrenic, or they want to, of course, in these situations, they want to push to have the mental health guy come out. Yeah, I'm totally down with him coming out and saying again that he can't do nothing. It's not his job. All he can do. No, by law, what they're supposed to do. Oh, we can't do our jobs by law because we don't have the resources. You see how heavy they're playing on that. Meanwhile, they got all the resources in the world to frame innocent people, don't they? They've got all the goddamn money in the world to try to fucking convict innocent people of crimes that were never committed, don't they? And they got all the money in the world to pay out when they accidentally do this to somebody in a house instead of somebody who's homeless. So I gotta call some Nagamatsu feller. And I told you what they were gonna do when I got here. I told you I was more likely that I was gonna get blown off. That I was gonna get told, oh, you're the wrong jurisdiction. Was I right about it? You goddamn right I was right. I've fucking been through this in a whole fucking shit ton of states. And when I say that, each one of these states, they say, oh, we do things differently here. No, the fuck you don't. Your goddamn bullshit is the same no matter where I fucking go. Quote unquote, mentally ill treatment. So, I guess I got a quasi-safe place until 10 p.m. Now, that other place that I can go that's in town, it's only dependent on whether or not those people want to complain. That's pleasant. You know, they could have offered to take me to a room. That guy from the Center for Living could have been that second man for me. That's not his job. He wanted to continually change the subject over and over again. Or, of course, as soon as I start trying to give the details about the abuse, getting talked over immediately. Being told I'm sorry, or pretty much anything to not listen to the situation. It does not instill any sort of, well, faith in those son of a bitches. That's for goddamn sure. I'm not completely out of food. I have saltine crackers. Got a little bit of Mountain Dew left. No, that's my old one. This is the one I got today. It's the same price as the one that's half the size. And the one that's half this size is only like 40 or 50 cents more expensive than the friggin' 20-ouncer. Buy in bulk. If I'm able to find a place where I can sit and park and not get fucked with, I can build myself a boat and get the fuck out of here. You guys got all these ideas of what I should be doing, but you are absolutely not doing a goddamn thing to help me get the resources to do it. Or even thinking about the resources that it takes. Adult Protective Services is supposed to send somebody. And I was sent to the hospital, and the hospital was supposed to send a social worker when I was there, but they didn't. They didn't. That doctor in Hood River broke the law by not reporting that and by not having a social worker show up. And you see, even though that social worker, or the Adult Protective Services worker that I spoke with, Cal, he said that they do have social workers at the hospital. But you also get to see, of course, Center for Living works closely with the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department, and as a result, they're not going to do a goddamn thing when you're abused by the Sheriff's Department or the Police Department. So here's how the cops got called. I ended the last video, right? And then I hear this clunk. And And I look back, and this lady stops right behind me in the middle of the fucking parking lot and starts bitching at them kids. I look back, one of them had a fucking rock in his hand. He was getting ready to throw another one. So anyway, I look back, and the lady talks to them, and they say something about me yelling. Of course I was yelling. It doesn't make it okay to throw rocks. So I said to the boy who had the rock in his hand, I said, well, she probably saw you throw a rock at my car. He said, I didn't throw any rocks. We just heard somebody screaming. I said, it was me. Anyway, I shouldn't call him kids. I mean, obviously, he's got a full beard. Not like mine, but he's got a full beard. And you notice they go digging for any excuse why it's not their job. They go literally out of their way as much as they can to not understand. They confess that, yes, the law says that they're supposed to do something. They also say they don't have the resources. Is that my fault? A lot of people, when crimes are committed against me and I need help turning it in, people say, that's not my fault. I didn't say it was your fucking fault. But if they get away with it, it is. You could do something about it. I'm telling you because you said you would help. And this, until I'm ready, I've been ready. What I need to be able to do is go down. If I need to spend 3 days at the fucking police station going through evidence and filling out reports, god damn it, they need to let me do that. Fucking goddamn things. I sat down over on the tall grasses earlier and I've been picking stickers out of my backside ever since. If getting infections on my backside ain't bad enough, I'm sure stabbing myself in the butt with stickers is probably not a good idea. I notice I tell him because of the threats, harassment, and assaults, and then when I start to explain it, of course, it's time to interrupt me again. He needs to understand stuff. He needs some, clearance, closure, what's the word I'm looking for? Clarification. Well, how about instead of me trying to clarify your questions, how about you listen so you know what questions to even ask? But then, of course, they don't listen to what I'm explaining to them. They interrupt me halfway through. So they don't know what the fuck is going on because they're busy interrupting me. And that officer here, he talked nice, but he stayed interrupting me the whole time. And that's not okay. Then there's that guy from the Center for Living. You see the little racket that they have going on? That's not help. That is the opposite of help. Anyway, Casey is more important than you assholes because you assholes aren't going to do squat. And if I don't help her out, there's a possibility that she'll end up dead. So, bug off. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.